Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I am Demetra K, and I hope you're having a great day. I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my moderators. You are the best to ever do it. Could not and would not do this without you. Today, we're going to have a pretty interesting conversation about a brother confronting Asian Democrat politicians for disrespecting Blacks by voting for the Charlie Kirk, resolution, if you will. And so I'm going to show y'all the video. And it gets pretty intense, I will tell you that. But in the meantime, as we're waiting for everybody to come on, let's see who's in the comment section. Also, I should take this time to promote the African Diaspora News Channel app. If you do not have that app, ask yourself, why not? And then you can go to your Play Store, whatever it is on your phone that you buy apps from. Go and put in African Diaspora News Channel and get the app, please and thank you. Because as we always say, these platforms do not belong to us. You know who they belong to, and at any given moment, they can say, that's enough. And then where would you find us? So you need to go and get that app, please and thank you. Anyway, let's see who's on here before we get started. Queen Adaya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. King Noble, how are you? African Native, what's going on with you? Honey, from Los Angeles. Well, story is right up your alley in your neighborhood, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Diane, how you doing? T. Austin, what's going on with you? Troy in the building. Brother Dom, my triple OG moderator, how you doing? Mr. Ernest, how are you doing this evening? Sunlight, how are you? Kels, hope you're doing well. Tracy and Fair Use. Simo, how you doing? Buckhorse, you holding it down in DC? Is it quiet there? Like, what's going on? Is all the crime gone? Mike Nice, how are you? Albie Chill, nice to see you once again. Carrie, hello. Mad Dog, Shan, how you doing? Laverne, glad to see you. Extreme X, what's going on with you? Negroes, how are you? Steel and Renz. All right, so I got about 20 more seconds to tap dance before we get started. And for those of y'all who are watching the replay, y'all can fast forward through all this stuff, except for the part about the African Diaspora News Channel app on your Play Store. All right. Kevin, how you doing? JJ Mars in the building. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you guys may or may not know, everything that's going on with Charlie Kirk, a couple of weeks back, his life was taken from him. Via an assassination as he was in Utah, a university, doing what he normally does, and that's debate with college students and things like that, via his organization, Turning Point USA. Again, I'm going to say that right off top, we do not condone any type of violence or anything like that. But from that, we've seen a lot of interesting things take place. People speaking out about it, people losing their jobs, and just a whole host of other things, right? Well, of course, there was a resolution taken up in the Senate that passed, right? And we're going to get into all the dynamics of that. But the resolution was basically to honor the life of Charlie Kirk and condemn political violence and things like that. But again, I'll get a little bit more detail. But I'm going to show y'all a video. Renee, how you doing? Brother Stephen, how you doing? Tell your wife I said hello. So I'm going to show y'all a video. And it comes from Film the Police LA. Right now, some of y'all might have seen his work, as he is one that's in the community, especially in Los Angeles, and he films the police, catches them doing all kind of stuff, right? And he also goes about holding people honest. So this particular clip, you're going to see him. I don't know exactly what event he's at, but there's a lot of Democrats there, and it seemed like a lot of Asians for whatever reason. And he has some questions for him. Y'all ready? Here we go.
Apparently had said that MLK was not a good person, that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Why did you vote to honor him?
I did not vote to honor him. I voted against political violence.
So that vote was against violence only, but the name of the bill is like Honor Charlie Kirk Act or something.
Yeah.
So you voted for it, but you weren't honoring him.
I voted to end political violence.
He also said some horrible things about Simone Biles, who've been sexually assaulted. Nothing, and you still voted for him?
Let me see if I can get him.
Congressman, Charlie Kirk said that MLK was a terrible person, and you voted to honor Charlie Kirk. Why did you vote to honor Charlie Kirk, who said MLK was a terrible person?
I voted to freaking condemn political violence.
Okay, but it was called the Honor Charlie Kirk Act. It was called the Honor Charlie Kirk Act. So you could do a little fake screaming. What you did is you disrespected a lot of people.
Condemn political violence.
Yeah, and what did he say about Simone? What did he say about Simone Biles? What did he say about Simone Biles? He said Simone Biles was a sociopath for sitting out the Olympics after she had been assaulted. That's what Charlie Kirk said, and you voted to honor him? And you voted to honor Charlie Kirk? How dare you?
I voted to condemn
you voted.
violence.
The name of the bill was to vote to honor Charlie Kirk. You voted to honor Charlie Kirk. How dare you? Shame on you. You could have sat there and made a statement against political violence. You voted to honor Charlie Kirk.
We disagree. I voted
You voted. All your other colleagues were even voted no.
Standing up.
Okay, so your other colleagues who voted against it were wrong?
No.
They condone violence? Is that what you're saying?
No.
So then, okay, if you're saying you were voting against violence, then it means the people who voted against it were voting for violence.
For the reason that you stated.
So that wasn't important to you. The fact that Charlie Kirk said that MLK was wrong, you said the fact that he said that Civil Rights Act was wrong, a mistake.
Those are awful things.
Those are awful things. And what about what he said about Yusuf Salam, one of the Central Park Five, who he called a gang, even though he knew it was a lie?
Dude, I disagree with most of what.
Then why did you vote to honor him? Shame on you. I'm going to make sure every place you go, you're going to be seeing my face. And people are going to learn. You disrespected black people with that. You disrespected black people with that. Shame on you. This guy right here, Ted Lieu, who represents the west side of LA, voted to honor Charlie Kirk along with you. And Freeman, you just voted president. You didn't even have enough guts to say, you know what? No, I vote against it. You just voted president. This is the cowardice that we.
All right. So, again, that was a brother. It goes by the name of a film, The Police, Los Angeles. And y'all saw he was giving them the business. Of course, he was reminding them of some of the things that Charlie Kirk has said, and specifically about black people. He brought up Simone Biles. Y'all know she's the gymnast. He also brought up our brother Yusuf Salam, who was part of the Central Park Five, and called him some pretty horrible things, even though it was proven that he, along with the others in the Central Park Five, did not do it. Of course, there's a lot on the right that's like, oh, yes, they did, right? Because, of course, y'all heard, Trump took out a big giant ad asking for their lives and still kind of was on that, talking about, well, he still believes that they're guilty, right? So again, that brother was reminding those Democrats there who are Asians, y'all voted to give him this day, right? So again, this particular day, let me get to my notes. So it's a resolution, Senate Resolution 391, as it passed the Senate on the 16th of this month. This resolution condemns the assassination of Charlie Kirk, extends condolences and sympathies to his family, and honors his commitment to civil discussion and debate. Now, it said that 95 Democrats voted yes, 58 voted no, 38 voted present, and 22 did not vote at all. So that was Ted Lieu, Representative Ted Lieu. As he said, he represents the west side of Los Angeles. Now, the population there is approximately 54% white, 18% Asian, 16% Hispanic, and less than that for blacks, right? So it's not that many blacks. Of course, his area is Beverly Hills, Malibu, and Pacific Palisades, just to name a few. Now, Judy Chu, her district is mostly Hispanic, then white, Asian, then black, and then she represents places like Pasadena, Altadena, and Claremont. Now, also Representative Hakeem Jeffries, y'all know who he is. He also said yes, and when he was pressed on it, he says, oh, well, he was voting against political violence. Now, I want to take y'all back to 2021, where the Asians got a hate crime bill. It was the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, where all of the Congressional Black Caucus members voted unanimously for it, right? Now, of course, y'all also know that they use black people as the boogeyman, right? Black people, they showed in these videos that were allegedly, and some were, attacking Asians and this, that, and the other. So the bill got passed like that, of course, under the Biden-Kamala administration. But I bring all that up to say, all of the Congressional Black Caucus members, they was like, yeah, bet, let's get them a hate crime bill. Of course, we as Black Americans do not have one. But those particular representatives who are Asian decided, yeah, why not? And even the brother was like, yo, even after he said this and this and this, and they kept on, oh, I was voting against, political violence. I know all the stuff he said, and I don't agree with that. But now listen, at the end of the day, they're just saying, okay, we want to honor the guy, say, condolences to his family, things like that. It sounds like maybe there'll be a day on his birthday, October 14th, where it's supposed to be celebrated and all that other stuff. But isn't that crazy? It is, but it's not. That they didn't see a problem with that at all. But again, the Congressional Black Caucus was like, yeah, we'll give them a bill, even though the people we're supposed to represent do not have a bill. Black Americans don't have a bill, even though FBI statistics say that Black Americans are the most harmed and all of that. We can't get a hate crime bill for nothing. Of course, we know the Congressional Black Caucus, they do for everybody else, but the people they say they supposed to do stuff for, although their mission statement says that they are there to help Black Americans and other, I think it says African Americans and other marginalized groups of people, which we now know that they mostly help other groups of people. They don't help us at all. But there's those Asian Democrats, they're tap dancing. Well, what happened? And the dude, he got mad, right? And the lady, she was like, yeah, I already see what time you on. Let me get out of here. But Ted Lieu was like, he got pretty upset. It's like, man, why you getting mad? And like the brother film, The Police Los Angeles said, I'm going to make sure that everybody knows what y'all did. And I'm going to show up everywhere you are. And trust me, he will, okay? He said, I'm going to show up everywhere y'all go to remind you of basically how you sold Black people out, even though, our so-called Black politicians never sell them out, right? But I read y'all the percentage demographics of their district, because Black people, of course, we know in Los Angeles or California in general, is less than 6% of a Black population. So they know that. They know, okay, well, I'll vote for this resolution or whatever and not do absolutely nothing for Black people. And what are they going to do? They ain't got no power, right? And we'll even, be against reparations and all that. And of course, we know there, the California Legislative Black Caucus, they pulled that shenanigans last year. And a lot of the Asian community was on board with the shenanigans, right? So anyway, I'm going to see what y'all have to say about the brother, but I will say to him that I appreciate him. I follow him on X, TikTok, and Instagram. But I really appreciate his tenacity and keeping them honest and reminding them, hey, we're not going to let y'all forget about the things that you have done, whether it's the police or it's politicians. But yeah, those politicians were caught like deers caught in headlights, because it's like, oh. So anyway, let's see what y'all got to say. And thank you for bearing with me. Let me see who else is on here. FM, how you doing? It says he got a hate crime bill. We don't, yeah. And the congressional, when I say Congressional Black Caucus, helped them get it, right? Rosalind, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Molly Cakes, what's going on with you? Says Asians don't care for Black people. No, and they really don't have to care now, because especially in Los Angeles, there's not that many Black people there, so they can, I voted against political violence. Sure you did. And again, Hakeem Jeffries, he needs to be ran up on too, right? He said the same thing. Well, he voted against political violence. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, so I think I saw everybody. Let me go back down to the bottom. Renee says they're getting real testy, huh? Yeah, he was mad because he was Ted Lieu. He was probably thinking, how dare you? How dare you press me on this? African Native says we had a show about validation yesterday. This is one perfect example. Well, I hear what you're saying about validation, but I think the brother was right. I think he was right for calling him to the carpet. Why would you, if you say it's detestable, the things that he was saying about Black people, and he did say a lot of detestable things about Black people. If you say it was detestable, why would you vote for something like that? Why would you vote for that? Especially when, Black people have stood with y'all. But this is really a case in point, as y'all often like to quote John Henrik Clark, we have no friends. Nowhere. So I don't know if this was necessarily looking for validation. I think he was basically like, hey, line it up. Why would you do something like that? Seymour says, we as a people must come together in the country if we're going to survive here. This includes standing together as one. Totally. FM. Yes, I read that. Yep, they got a hate crime bill. Agent Black, how you doing? Says, I'm on my break. Glad I got to see that. He sounds like Donovan. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's something Donovan would do as well. Trust me, Donovan has been put out of a lot of fine establishments for, trying to hold him accountable. Lala, how you doing? Says, dang, he had their edges. Yeah, and they did not like their edges snatched like that. Still says, that's how you hold their feet to the fire. Yeah, as a voter, constituent, that's his right to do that. Why would you vote like that? You're saying, yes, I don't agree with the things he was saying, but, y'all, but again, that's the Democrat Party that's pretending, we're going to hold them accountable. We're against the Republicans. And then you go and vote with the Republicans. Now, I don't know if, Mr. Kirk has said anything about his community. I don't, like, again, I said I don't follow and did not follow Charlie like that, but I don't know, Albie Chill says, brother snapping on him. Oh, yeah, that's how he get down, too. They know him in Los Angeles. Isaac, how you doing? Brother Damon, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Brian, how you doing? It says, stay on the neck. Yep. MacArthur, what's going on with you? Agent Black says he should have brought up the fact that these people got a hate crime bill. Yeah, but he probably just kind of was there on the fly, or maybe he wasn't there on the fly and it happened to catch some of them, whatever, and would just, you know how it is when you're trying to get it all out at once. But I respect that he said, you're disrespecting Black people. You're disrespecting Black people. All the things this man said about Black people, and there you are saying, well, I don't see a problem with that. Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brina, what's going on? I said, good day, people. I'm so glad you showed this. I'm a native California. These Asians here cannot be trusted. Yeah, and again, even though the Black caucus, and we know they ain't nothing, right? But they not one of them said no. All of them said, yes, let's give them a hate crime bill because everybody's after them. And ain't said a peep about a Black American hate crime bill. Not one. We are unprotected out here, but everybody else got protection. It's crazy. And MacArthur says, sister, why don't you do more videos on the Big Six to expose these fake civil rights leaders? I guess I just have to, right? I have to try to draw a correlation, more of a correlation with them and the Big Six, if you will, tactics, because it's still the same. A lot of people just don't know what it is, but it's still alive and well. But I'm glad you enjoyed that video. Brogu, how you doing? Extreme says, boy, I'm glad I don't live in California. These Asians and Hispanics ain't about ish. Yeah, well, I'm a native Californian as well. I don't know. I don't know if it wasn't always like this, I guess. I don't know. But when I was there were more Black people there. They're not anymore. There's more Black people in the South now than there are anywhere in the United States. In California, pretty soon it ain't gonna be but two of them, right? So I think they just kind of counted Black people out there. They being everybody, the Black politicians, and so now they have to, in a sense, tap dance for all the other communities because we're just outnumbered. So I get why they sell us out. I don't like it, but I understand why they do. They like, Black people ain't got no power, but these Asians and Hispanics, oh yeah, they got power. So, and we know that the Asians and Hispanics do not want Black Californians, especially, or Black people in general, Black Americans, I should say, descendants of slaves. They don't want us to get reparations at all. Brother Damon says, what about those 4 Shinebone that voted for that ish bill? Yeah, as I said, Hakeem Jeffries is one of them. I looked to see who the other ones were, but I didn't have time to really get into it because it was a long list. But yeah, he was one, and he said the same thing. And I think that's kind of like a canned talking point. Oh, we'll just say that we voted to condemn political violence. Is like, do you need that to condemn political violence? There's been political violence before, and there weren't resolutions. I mean, even against President Donald Trump last year when he was at twice, right? I didn't see any resolutions, but again, the Democrats were in control. So I guess I get that. I don't know. Myra, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. JJ says some agents who collaborated with Hispanics against FBA. Yeah, and they have a coalition. Believe it or not, the Asians and Hispanics, especially in Los Angeles, they got a coalition, against us. And it's sad, but then again, within the last couple of months, we heard the black and brown, and as we always say, they only talk about the black and brown when the black's supposed to help the brown, but never the brown supposed to help the black. You think about it. Think about any time where there's the black and brown coalition per se has been mentioned. It's never been to where the brown helps the blacks. It's always been where the blacks go help the browns. It's like, well, we kind of have helped y'all quite a bit by the way we vote and a whole host of other things. So yeah. Damn, Isaac, you said Zesty Jeffrey strikes again. Is he? Still, he says no politician can be trusted. You ain't lying. JJ said Jeffrey's butt needs to be voted out. Yeah, he's just kind of going along to get along. Maybe he feels defeated, like, well, if we can't beat him, we might as well join him type of thing, you know? Yes, FM, honorary whites. That's what they are considered to be, or they're considered to be that, and they consider themselves to be that until they get their wake-up call. Honey O says the black community spends a lot of money with the Asian businesses in California, especially Los Angeles. You ain't lying. You are not lying. I mean, that's kind of everywhere, but especially in Los Angeles, whether it's hair shops, restaurants, you know, the swap meet. They even took over the Slauson, right? The Slauson swap meet. It's a lot of them there up in there. I took my dad a couple years back. He wanted some Stacey Adams, and we went up in there. I was like, damn, it's a lot of Asians up in here. Now, I didn't used to, you know, be like that. Not that I can remember, but yeah. But will we stop spending money with them? Probably not. Brina says, I'm between Pasadena and Claremont, got family in both cities. So yeah, that's who let me see which one is was it Ted Lieu or Judy Chu that represents you? But that's how they feel about you, in a sense, right? MacArthur says Sister Haitians never got an anti-hate bill. In the comments kind of jumbled at the end. No, they never got one. But I would say, and I know there's Haitian Americans here, but as a Black American, yeah, you know, we need to be taken care of probably first, right? Because we are from here, and we have nothing to show for anything, right? So I get what you're saying with that, but yeah, Black Americans, we got to get something because everybody else is getting something but us. Levon, how you doing? Says the Democrats are no more, so they can vote for whatever. No more disrespect. Facts, yeah. But again, now they're going on to the other communities, right? Saying, well, how y'all doing? Because I mean, in a sense, they still got Black American voters. They'll probably still get the majority of Black American votes for the next couple of cycles. They'll probably get less and less, but they'll still get the majority. But now they got to work on the other ones, which is why they fight so hard, you know, for the illegal immigrants and things like that. Because their communities, regardless of what it is, whether it's Asians, Hispanics, or whatever, a lot of them don't like what they see going on. And so, yeah, they'll cater to them so they can, you know, get the votes. Because they know that the Democrats are going to fight to keep them here, you know. Well, thank you, Myra. I appreciate that. Anton, how you doing? Says they big mad because Charlie Kirk. You know what? Yeah, they're pretty upset about that. They're pretty upset. Still says they don't care as long as they eat. Yeah, and I'm not mad at them. I mean, that's what everybody should be doing, right? Make sure you eat first. But see, we as Black Americans, we stop caring if we eat first. We make sure everybody else eat first. And we talked about this earlier on the African Diaspora News Channel, my live stream, and I'll be back there tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. But we talked about that. We give all of our stuff, most of it, right? 97% of it to everybody else. And then, like, well, we hungry. It's like, no kidding. You made sure everybody else ate before you did. So, who else is on here? And Samuel, you say, in the words of John Henry Clark, yep, we have no friends. We're overdue heeding the advice of Elijah Muhammad and Dr. Anderson to practice group economics and do for self. They voted how they feel. Yeah, are those Asian individuals? They voted how they feel. They don't care about us. And I think that brother knows that, but I think he was like, yeah, everybody needs to see. And it's, you know, gone pretty viral, I will say, which is kind of how I saw it yesterday. But he's like, I'm going to let everybody know just how y'all get down. You know, and like y'all said, he probably didn't get a chance to say it, but the Congressional Black Caucus unanimously, which means all of them, voted to get them a hate crime bill. Make sure they're protected. If you do or say something to them, you know, especially derogatory in regards to race, yeah, you're going to get a charge. Brian, he says, and only 13 of 64 are FBA of the Congressional Black Caucus. Yeah, which is why they legislate the way they do for everybody else but Black Americans. But see, for a while, we kind of was asleep to that. But when we started having the delineation conversation again, because it's not a new conversation, but when we started to have it again, that's when I think we started to really notice, like, okay, yeah, no wonder, right? Because this Congressional Black Caucus members from Haiti or Jamaica or whatever, right? And that, so then it started to resonate, like, okay, that's why they legislate the way they do for everybody else. John Hill, how you doing? Says them folks with the triple K's. Mad Dog, he said he's very solid. So you talking about Film the Police LA? Yeah, he really is. Mahaya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Shanette, what's going on? It says reparations for American freedmen. Yep. I don't know if I'm gonna talk about that on my live stream tomorrow on African Diaspora News Channel. I might, just depending, but I will talk about that in regards to reparations and what California is doing or not doing. They think they slick, right? But they got a kind of everybody reparation bill they're trying to, pass. It's crazy. Jerron, how you doing? Says, show me any video of Kirk teaching the Bible to anyone. There is no such footage. Again, I don't, never have followed him. I've seen little clips here and there. I've covered stories back in the day. But I know a lot of people's talking about how he's, was just Christian and things. And that was a lot of what was said. I guess at the funeral, I did not watch it. Marjorie, how you doing? Brother Damon said it's a clear message to FBAs. The Democrats don't give an F by voting for that racist bill. Yeah. And as I looked at the verbiage of it, I mean, it does say, basically to denounce political violence, but to send a condolence to his family and things like that. So, so the bill maybe not is not written and, as far as racist, but some would argue the person they're talking about is, right? Mad Dog said, just remember that when they come around to the Black community, when they want your votes. Yeah, but I don't know, do the Asians come to the Black community? I don't know if they do or they don't. I haven't seen them, but do they do that? I mean, they gotta, and what's crazy is because, like, I think it was the 1960s, the Asian population, and I know there's different types of Asians, but just in general, the Asian population, I think, was like 2%. I think they're about 8, 9, maybe 10% now. So yeah, they're starting to catch up to the population of Black Americans. So now they're like, we don't need to ask them for anything, because guess what? No matter how bad we treat them, how we vote, they still gonna come into our chicken and rice houses. They're still gonna come buy hair. They're still gonna come get their nails and their feet done. All that. They still gonna come give us all their money. And we ain't gotta, we ain't gotta treat them special or nice. We don't even gotta go to their neighborhoods and say, hey, would you vote for me? We ain't gotta do that. Now they might show up. Now I will say, when I was in California, I did some work with the NAACP, some public relations stuff. And one of the Asian Congress members, Mark Takano, he doesn't like me, by the way. They invited him to come to one of the meetings, and he's, sitting up there just, what he's going to do. And they just fawning all over him and all kind of stuff. I was like, man, let me get out of here. And I left. And he ran up on me at a Black History Parade of all places, right? He's an Asian cat. Ran up on me at the Black History Parade. He says, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. How about yourself? He says, we're not going to have any trouble, are we? What does that mean? Right? I was like, huh? He says, have a nice day. And I said, yeah, you too. And I will say that, Donovan and I, we would give him the blues. Okay. So I think that's probably why he said that to me. But I'm like, man, I'm not even thinking about you. I'm here watching the drill team and all that. I'm not really tripping off of you, but whatever. Beverly White, how you doing? Man, what's going on with you? Says, I haven't heard Charlie Kirk addressing the issues in the white community. No. And that's why I said I was having some brief conversations, not too much, with somebody online about it. They're a staunch supporter of his, and they were like, and they're, not Black American. But they were like, well, what did he say that was wrong? And I'm like, I don't care if what he was saying was right. We didn't ask him to speak to us. Why is it that he needs to speak to us when there's so many other people he could speak to? Nobody designated him as the Black American spokesperson, right? Not no shade, but we don't even listen half the time to the people we should be listening to in our own community. So what makes him think we was going to listen to him? Hubris much, you know? Virgo, how you doing? Says Demetria. I'm glad I caught this live stream tuning in while at the laundromat. I know that's right. And thank you for joining us. Tyrone, how you doing? He says, they say there is a kissing bug disease. Yeah, I heard about that. That is an epidemic levels in America. The news says it comes from Mexico. I wonder what else came from Mexico as of recently. Yeah, I heard about that. And they said it's going on here in Texas. And I stay in the house. I don't really go out much like that, but I did hear about this kissing bug. I seen what it looks like. And I guess if it bites you, something you could. So, yeah. Brenda says, I just got through watching Malcolm X talking about liberals and conservatives being the same. Liberals are tricky and not just white now. Oh, yeah. Well, like you said, they're worse because they lie, right? The conservatives never really courted our vote like that. But the Democrats, it's a different story. Levon, he says the Democrats played FBAs like a fiddle, and now the Democrats are no more. Enough is enough. Facts. Yep. FM says, so the average person can get a hate crime charge for using an Asian slur, but they want to honor, white supremacists, you better believe it. Yes. You go out to the public square right now and say something derogatory racially to one of them, and maybe put your hands on them. Yeah, you get 2 charges. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Arlene, how you doing? Hope you're well. Brother Don says we have to be unprotected so that no one can be held to the same standard they hold us. They would have to sit down for a while. Man, can you imagine if we had a hate crime bill, all the people, if they actually applied it, all the people that would be in trouble, charged and in jail and stuff, it'd be a lot. Hero, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Carrie says the only protection we have is with the creator of the universe. Why not turn to him? Yeah, we do. We should turn to him. That is the ultimate protection. But you want our vote, then you got to do something for us, right? Gone are the days of, well, how about a fish fry? No voting, no bucking. Would you like that? Would you like some strippers to the polls? No more of that. So, it's a give and get. I'll vote for you if I'm going to get something for it. Now, if I'm not going to get anything for it, then stop asking me, right? Fair use. It says, walk softly, but carry a big stick. You know what? My mama used to always say that. And I never forgot it. Walk softly, but carry a big stick. Steele, says, I want you to run for president and Donovan as your VP. And we wouldn't be there long. I'm going to tell you right now. Cornelius, how you doing? It says Congressman Lou, and the rest of our politicians last standing against the people, PPB. And I'm not sure what that is, but okay. Cloudless, how you doing? Long time no see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit so I can catch up because I know I'm a tiny bit behind y'all. Please forgive me. Johnny D, what's up? He says they couldn't pass George Floyd Policing Act. They didn't want to. It was that whole let's pretend, right? That carrot on the stick. It was the Kente clause and, them kneeling for 10 minutes on their very old knees. It was Kamala going to Tyree Nichols' funeral there in Memphis where those black cops, took his life. And her saying, I'm going to go back to the White House and I'm going to tell Joe Biden to sign that George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And it's like, all right, Kamala, what happened? She was like little Martin Luther King Jr. that day, but nothing ever happened. Opa, Laka, how you doing? It says Caribbean blacks won't mess with us. Okay. Black women stand up. How you doing? Scent Speaks, what's going on? She says, please see Laura Loomer's last statement. Please. Yeah, I saw it. I actually talked about it on here yesterday where she called Jasmine Crockett ghetto black bee. Yeah, we talked about it here. Yeah, they getting real bold because we know them as fighting words, right? African Native says they are bleach whites. He says not whites. So also like saying wannabe, is that what you're saying? One Unique Monique, what's going on? Says now it's time to boycott the Asian businesses, but we've been saying that. Not even on no hate stuff. It's like we need to keep that money at home, right? 97% of our money we give to everybody else, keeping 3%. Yeah, the Asian community, they get a lot of that money. And I always say no shade to them. I know a lot of Asian people are pretty cool. But I never have seen them in those businesses. Have you ever seen Asians getting their nails done in their own business? Now, I've never been in no chicken and rice house because I'm just not going to go up in there. But have you seen them going in there and getting those big whopping plates full of rice and chicken? Or in their beauty supplies? I've never seen them in there. So it's like, why they don't go in there? But we go in there. I just always wondered that. Pete, how you doing? Says God, well, thank you. I received that, and God bless you too. Brother Don says this is a smoke screen for what really happened, and this is all a distraction. The folks responsible for the pew pew are them folks that can take away your YouTube, Facebook, X, your job, college, admissions, all that. Yeah, but that's why we're also told to, especially by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, think 5 times before you speak. You don't need to say everything that's on your mind, right? Now, some of them people was doing a lot, and I'm not saying they should lose their jobs and things like that. I mean, but, depending on what field you're in, if you're a teacher, you're a doctor or whatever, yeah, some people might have some concerns. But you should think about that yourself. Okay, you know what? I'm a teacher. I'm a doctor. I probably shouldn't be all up on the internet tweeting this, that, and the other. I should probably just keep my mouth shut. But see, we live in a society to where people do not value being quiet anymore. People don't know how to be quiet. Even if it's on, like they tweeting something or posting something online, I'm going to just say this. Well, they doing all that with they Twitter fingers and they, thumb thugging. And then when something happened, they like, well, I just don't understand why they just taking my account. Because you can't talk about them people on their own platforms and think you're going to make it. Would you let somebody come in your house and talk to you all kind of crazy ways to talk about your people and then say, hey, put your feet up on the coffee table too while you're at it? No, you're probably going to be like, get out of here. So some of that is on them people that's like you could say what you need to say without having to do all that. And that's when we first started talking about this, the day that it happened, to Charlie, I was intentional on that. Nah. And this is even before I heard that people was losing their jobs and stuff. I'm just not going to be doing all of that. We can have conversations without all of that, right? So if people lost their jobs, I don't really necessarily think they should have, but you got to think of you first. Tracy says, do we have a choice not to spend with them? The less we own, we can't buy from our own. Yeah, well, we're going to have to start buying from our own. As Nuri Muhammad said, and it's been said a million times before, yeah, it's going to be expensive or more expensive to shop with our own people. But if we don't start doing it, then the prices are never going to come down. I understand why our people prices are higher because they don't have the traffic coming into those stores like the Asians, the Hispanics, the whites, the Arabs, the Indians. They don't have that type of traffic. So, yeah, they got to boost the price up so they can at least break even. So, yeah. Honey says, we know who's on the low financially boycott. And I'm sorry, maybe a comment got a little bit jumbled. Arlene, you say, I hope these Democrats don't continue to our vote or ask for our vote. I think you're trying to say, oh, they will. FME says that we don't have a homeland to go back to. This is our land. Absolutely. Totally. K-Mac, how you doing? Says, salute. Last month, I was in Henderson, Nevada. It was my first time. I did not see too many FBAs. Because, Las Vegas or Nevada, rather, it's right next to California. So it's probably just as many blacks. It's probably a little bit more blacks in Nevada than there are in California, but not much. Because I think Nevada, the cost of living is a little bit better. But yeah, it's not a lot of us anywhere, on the West Coast. African Native, he says, the belly opens the mind and the mind opens the belly. Okay. All day, every day. How you doing? He says, God bless the child that's got his own. Yes, indeed. My mama and my daddy. And my mom's gone on, but my dad says that all the time. What do you have that belongs to you? What can you do without the assistance of everybody else? If you got fired from your job right now from the man, how will you feed yourself? How will you keep a roof over your head? Your paycheck got cut in half. What are you going to do? You're going to get up off of it and use your gifts and your talents to get the other half of that paycheck. As I said to y'all, I made it my mission to pay myself more than anybody else is going to pay me. And we all should be thinking that way. Whatever it is you know how to do, if you know how to bake a cake, you know how to mow some grass, whatever it is you know how to do, you know how to clean some houses, then you do that along with the other stuff that you're doing. That way you can take care of yourself. God bless the child that's got his own. Patrice, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Our Negro says, yep, God bless the child that's got his own. He said dreams, full quote. Okay. And Miss Wu Side, how you doing? Says black people should be exempt from taxation without any representation. Yeah, we should be, but we not gonna be. Let's keep it a buck, right? I get why you're saying that. It's funny because I saw a video the other day and I sent it to a friend of mine because she was kind of talking to me about that once. But there's a certain section of us who like to challenge the court and say, well, I'm a sovereign citizen and I don't have to pay this or that, and I don't have to go to jail, and I don't have to pay rent. And so it was a sister, she was in court and she was trying to, say that she was a sovereign citizen and stuff. And the black judge was like, ma'am, please. What we not gonna do. So I hear what you're saying, but yeah. One Unique Monique says the Congressional Black Caucus is now the Caribbean Black Caucus. You ain't lying. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Says I'm also thinking black women in the women's rights movement fight for white women causes, while the reverse is not true, in my opinion. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Black women got out there and burn their bras and I'm leaving that sucker. I'm gonna find myself, right? And I always use this analogy that the black woman and the white woman and all the other women was out there, but we talking about the black woman. The white woman, they locking elbows. Yeah, forget him. We gonna go and make it do it anyhow. We ain't gonna shave our arms or our legs. And then the white woman was like, ooh, well, Bob's about to be getting home. I'll see y'all later. Be back tomorrow about 9 o'clock, right? So basically that white woman was like, I don't know, yeah, it was cute, but Bob is finna be at the house. I got to make sure his casserole is on the table. I got to make sure everything is laid out. I'm playing right here in these streets. So the black woman was like, oh, maybe she's serious and she just gonna come back. So the black woman took it. And I'm not saying that's the total reason why the black community is dilapidated. There's a whole lot of reasons, not just the black woman. But yeah, the black woman thought she was for real and she took it seriously to some degree. But that white woman is still with her man to the tune of what? They say 60-something%. And the black woman is at 70-something% not with her man. So yeah, the white woman she just needed a body count. She was just playing. She wasn't serious. So yeah. JJ says Democrats and Republicans only recruit black immigrants and anti-FBA to become leaders. Yep. And I think Brother Phil had covered that a while back, where I guess it was some expose that came out that they was like, yeah, we ain't getting no black Americans because they, on to us, but the others that come over here, they're like, yeah, sir. Because us, not so much. We got demands, right? Sherry says, we know it's devils in the church. It says, Charlie Kirk, a Christian, please. Oh, there's a lot of devils in the church. People believe that the devil can't go to church. The devil is up in the church, okay? That's a lie. The devil be sitting right up in there talking about, Jesus sure is good, ain't he? And walk right out with you. Albert Chill says, we need our own think tanks too. We surely do, right? And like we used to do in the living rooms of people's houses, right? Bringing some fried chicken, whatever it is, and probably some healthy food at this point. And we sit up and chop it up and talk about the things that we need to do to move the ball forward. But see, the problem is, and this is kind of part of the plan too, we want to do all this yip yapping, and I'm guilty of it too, on Facebook, Instagram, and all this other stuff. But we really need to be, at the very least, if you're having those conversations with your own family, you don't need to invite the whole neighborhood. If everybody sits down with their families, then the idea will just kind of be, right? Because everybody's talking about the same things, and it'll go from there. D-Mac, how you doing? It says Asians stay quiet. Yeah, they stay quiet and they keep on moving and working, building and stacking, wash, rinse, repeat. That's one thing I say about the Asians. They got their game down tight. But you got to remember too, they did not have the experience that Black Americans had, via that of slavery. They didn't have that. They came over here especially, right? And they have a unity and they work as a unit, all that, right? They know who they are. And so they got a different set of circumstances. Plus, we know that they get government loans and stuff a lot easier than we do. So they're miles ahead of us, just even with those things. Tracy says, I've never seen an Asian come to our community unless they want to buy something like a house, you know? Yeah. Negro says Kurt was a Manchurian candidate. They were setting him up to start debating more with political figures. I believe his mother, who is a mental health psychologist, brainwashed him. He was too young. I ain't never heard that. That's interesting, but I haven't heard. I know there's a lot of theories out there. Perhaps we'll never know, as we never know with a lot of things with the government, right? Patrice says October 14th. Yes, it's George Floyd's birthday. I'm honoring him on his birthday. An advocate support the George Floyd bill. Charlie Kirk made degrading comments about George Floyd, shaking my head. Yeah, and that's what I said too. They're going to be mad on that day because Black people going to act a fool. Black people are going to cut up with the George Floyd celebrations, right? They're going to be mad. But it's his birthday too, right? Is that against the law to celebrate George Floyd's birthday, which is the 14th as well, which is odd. God has a real, like, great sense of humor, doesn't he? And our Negro says, to have all that hate, it had to come from his parents. Yeah, our parents being our center of influence, we get most of the things, our behaviors and all of that from our parents. So, yeah, I would concede that. All right, so let me skip down. Who haven't I seen? Arlene, I've seen you, but you say, you're right, Demetria, my sister still go to the hair and nail shops. Yeah, I won't utter a word, but not too long. I won't get in trouble again because a lot of people was mad when I said it, but y'all gonna boycott the Africans? Gonna boycott the African braiding shops, but y'all still letting the Asian nail shops and hair shops and all that make it? It's just the lunacy. I just couldn't believe it. JD says majority of SBA loans go to Asians and Hispanics. I don't know the statistics on that, but I'll take your word for it. Let's see who else is on here. A McMill, how you doing? Says no racist white supremacists can't tell me nothing whatsoever about my people when they are the oppressor of my people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What nobody asked anybody to say anything else. Like, I don't even know what that. Who thought that he was supposed to be our spokesperson, right? Timothy, how you doing? Says kissing bug, red UVA vid bug, Chagas disease can kill you. Yeah, I just be trying to stay in the house. Hopefully they don't come in the house. Leon, how you doing? Says CK is mad that a sister beat him out of a job and he held a grudge ever since. I never heard that, but okay. So we're learning a little bit more. Timothy says trypanosomiasis. Is that the name of it? Okay, the disease I guess you'll get if you get bit. Mr. X, how you doing? Says Charlie Kirk was having an open dialogue with everyone on college campuses. That is true. He was having an open dialogue. That 100% it was open, even though sometimes I saw him cut people off. But I would say for the most part, the format was, hey, come up to the mic and, you know, we debate about whatever it is you want to ask me. So that I will concede. Damon, he says the POS, Kirk knew hating on FBAs was his ticket to getting paid. Look at who sponsored his racist BS. Yeah, I mean, you got to throw Candace Owens in the mix as well. She's a whole Black woman. So she says she is. I know, you know, she does some things that's not so Black. But she was doing the same thing. In fact, she said that was her best friend, right? She was crying and all kind of stuff. But it's big money on hating on Black Americans. Big money. I tell y'all all the time. Do y'all know how wealthy I would be? This house back here. That's Madam C.J. Walker's house, Villa Lararo. What some of her, you know, employees, teammates, probably. I could have a house like that. Boy, if I was just getting on here spewing, you know, Black hate and Black people this and, you know, Black people, we just need to just forgive white people and we just got to, you know, what's wrong with us, welfare queen. Whoa! Oh, the money would just, I'd have to have like 30 bank accounts to hold all the money. But you'll pay for that in the end. Lauren, how you doing? Says unemployment rate is highest in 4 years. It's expected to keep rising. Groceries, utility prices soaring. Each job report gets worse. Republicans have a majority in all three branches of government help. Oh yeah, it's going to get worse. In fact, I was talking to my brother, my oldest brother, Walter, who's on here sometimes. I was just talking about a bunch of stuff. And I said, it's funny because I saw an article today that says that, because you know the stock market is kind of rallying here and there. It has its drops and stuff, but for most part, it's rallying. It says, yeah, the stock market was rallying right before the Great Depression too. And he said, it's so weird you said that, because I literally just heard, Jerome Powell, who's the, Secretary Treasurer, whatever, say something like that 10 minutes ago. I said, see? So yeah, it's going to get worse, unfortunately. I'm not trying to freak people out, but if you know, you know. He says, without Charlie Kirk, we might not have become the only generation of Americans to elect a president who is out on bail or was found guilty of felonies and was found liable for, abuse. Yeah, they say it's because of him. I don't know how true it is. There's a lot of people like Latinos and more Black people voted for Trump than ever before type of thing. So, yeah, I'm sure he was instrumental with his Turning Point USA efforts, but was it solely because of him? I don't know. And I don't know the numbers with that. Laverne says, days of the bait and switch are gone for us. Yep. Because we're aware. Sherry Stone, how you doing? Says, so ain't nobody over this sway on. You crazy. The rapture. Y'all got, he says, y'all got go. You got to be ready. I think you're trying to say, yeah. So listen, there's this conspiracy theory on TikTok that the rapture was supposed to happen today. Why? I don't know. My daughter's kind of been laughing about it, telling me about it. I guess it was supposed to happen. People's like packing up their houses and really thinking, it was them people for the most part. Thinking that somebody, I don't know, was going to get sucked up, raptured. And I'm like, well, maybe the rapture happened and we're just left behind. Who knows, right? I think if the rapture happened, it happened a long time ago. And we just don't know about it. But yeah, interesting. Kente Cloth Mafia is crazy. Jessica, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, who else haven't I seen on here? Brother Steven says, President Demetri and Vice President Donovan, I will vote for Demetri K. I'm telling you, they've been like, we see her. I shouldn't laugh at that, but I just kind of see that. Queen Adia says, they sure don't get theirs done in their own shops. They are wearing masks and all those fumes to stop supporting them. You're right. All those chemicals in those shops. Yeah, no. I mean, y'all can see my little nubs. I do my own nails and hair and stuff. It's cheaper that way. And pretty soon it's going to get to that point because ain't nobody got no money, right? It's getting bad, you guys. It really is. Just skipping down. Lily, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Frank, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Let's see. Marjorie says, also, don't be friends with people you work with because you don't really know if they're trying to be friends or get you fired so their friends could get your job. Yeah, and at the end of the day, just be quiet, right? I was always one of those people that went to work. I'm not here to be kikiing with y'all going out and all that other stuff. I rarely even sat in the lunchroom at certain jobs. Like when I was a personal banker, the manager, who's a white lady, and she did not like me. On my lunch break, which was an hour, I would just go walking for an hour. And she's like, why don't you ever sit in here and talk with us? Like, please. She did not like me. Spark 2 Firestorm, how you doing? Says she wasn't attached to government, and I'm so behind, so forgive me. He says to our government, and who is that? Damon, unshaven women, armpits. I mean, you don't want to shave your arms. That's great, but really back then and even now, women do things for men, right? Because there's a lot of men who's like, ew, there's a lot of hair there, right? So they shaved it or whatever. Back then, it was like, I'm throwing my razors away. One who cares, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else? Easy E, the building. How you doing? all Dre, how you doing? Says we as FBAs, I think he meant FBAs, have no friends. Nope, and we've been told that for a very long time, and here we are. A foodie's guide to fasting. How you doing? Says yes, we are. Because I got 5 minutes and I'm trying to get to everybody. Tracy says the hair and nail shops barely have a full house anymore around where I live. They're pricing themselves out of business. Yeah, I hear some of these women paying like hundreds of dollars every 2 weeks or 100 or so. I don't know. To get their nails done. Do you know what I could do with $100 or $200 every 2 weeks? And it would not be getting my nails done. Because for me, like I said, you know, I'm washing dishes and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, my nails would get messed up. And, you know, you got to keep your nails clean. But that's a lot of money. I remember back in the day, they was like $19.99 for a full set, you know, and $9 for a field. Karima, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Princess, our mom, what's going on with you? It says, it's a parasite, and they advise you to seek treatment as soon as possible because it's curable up to a certain point. Once symptoms stop, it's permanently in your bloodstream. You talking about that bug? Are they like gonna die off? Y'all got me itching now. Are they gonna die off? Because that's kind of scary. FM say Candace is not black. She's not Black American. What is she? I've heard, but I don't remember. She's Caribbean. Okay, it makes sense. It's making more sense. Okay, so I was reading about the West Point thing. Negro says these are the last days. Calamities all around. Look up. Redemption is near. Oh yeah, you can see it. It's happening every day, and people just going on with life as usual. Kells, he says, tell the truth, shame the devil. Yep. Kevin says Charlie Kirk was denied entry into West Point, and he snapped after that because Black people were getting in. He lost his mind after that. A high school classmate said that. I heard something about the West Point thing, but wasn't for sure of all the dynamics. African Native says to understand the internal issues of America, you got to stay out of the country for at least 3 months before returning. Yeah, I mean, I've gone out of the country for like, I don't know, 9 days at a time. And just even being out the country that little bit of time, I could definitely see the difference. Virgo, how you doing? So the Bible says we won't know the day or time of the rapture. Only the Most High know. Right? That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's already happened and we here, you know. Braxton the Snake Fiend, how you doing? Says Demetria, evening, ma'am. Greetings and shout out from Louisiana. Yes, indeed. Easy says economic collapse purposely to cause civil war. Well, it looks like it's on the way. Tyrone says there was a statue of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein placed in front of the DC Mall today in honor of Friendship Month. For real? I didn't hear that. Mad Dog says, when I go to work, I'm there to work and make money, not friends. Same. Chunky Keys, how you doing? Says, I love that patch of hair. What patch of hair? Are you talking about the underarm hair? That's your business. That, you know what? It just dawned on me because I'm like, well, it's like 2 patches of hair here and never mind. Okay. Queen Adia says, Demetria, I had the same problem. I didn't go to work to make friends. I went to do a job and go home. And some people don't like that because you think you all that and do. Yes, I do. Okay. I'm not here to be ha-haing with you. I'm here to make some coins and go home. Come back, do it again. YOLO, how you doing? So a lot of these nail shops, polishers have fungus and no one acknowledges this. Went to the podiatrist and was informed of this brittle nails, foot fungus rather, discoloration, foot fungus. Yeah, that makes sense, right? They dip in the brush, back in the bottle, they paint your nails. Then somebody else comes along. Oh, I want that color. Somebody else comes along. Oh, put that on my feet. You got to go to work on Myra's feet. If you know, you know, right? Myra's feet might have some little fungus on it. Yeah, so that's really crazy if you think about it. It really is. D-Mac, you say, there are many people out there knowing prices are getting higher and higher and still asking why they can't seem to make it. Shaking my damn head. Yep. Fresh Air, how you doing? Says $200 short-term T-bills. Says hair and nails every 2 weeks. Yeah, that's I heard it gets up there, and that's crazy. Yeah, that one patch is kind of like you just shaving one arm, but then I think he was Sherry. I think he was European. because he was taking them to task. And I'll read this last comment before I get out of here. Braxton says, Demetri K, and ma'am, if you haven't watched the movie The Purge election year, I have seen it. I like that movie. The first Purge 2018 and the Forever Purge 2021. I highly recommend them. It sums up what's happening in this country. So I don't think I saw the one in 2021, but I saw the other ones and the one that was about us. I think everybody should watch that. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, and on the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. Central Time. I'll be there for half an hour. Please be there or be square. Also, we have ways to help this channel if you see fit to do so. I love and appreciate you. But at the very least, please like and subscribe and all of that. In the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your day. Hey, no reparations, no vote. Have a great day. Peace.